Jason Walker Tea Review. We're looking at another black tea today for you. This is a Rishi tea, and we're going to go ahead and start this one up, get it going. This is Rishi's Organic Darjeeling Second Flush Muscatel. So we're going to put that in here. Healthy portion in here. Start it up. Give it a rinse. Give it a taste. Get the full experience. Nice little tasting cup here, and then we'll be able to talk about what we have in front of us. All right, now that looks like it's ready to go. Set that aside so that we can then jump in and talk a little bit more about what we have in front of us. Let me go ahead. I had forgotten to spread some of this out, so that gives us something to look at in just a moment. Now we're ready to settle down for a second. What we have here is Rishi's Organic Darjeeling Second Flush Muscatel. A little bit of information about this. 1 ounce at $7.50. Instructions or guidelines, I should say, rather. 195 degree water, 1 teaspoon, 8 ounces of water, steep time of 4 to 5 minutes. But one of the things I like about Rishi, which they do explain on the back, and I'm looking here, let your palate be your guide, because you will want to add more tea, dry leaf rather, or a longer steep time to bring out more aromas and more flavor if you like a stronger tea. Other things that they mention, which I think are worth noting here: if you use distilled water, mineral water, and most of your tap waters, you are probably going to get a flatter tasting tea. A filtered water or a spring water are best for bringing out the most as far as the aromas of your tea. And as always, Rishi is a fair trade certified tea, and it is certified also by the kosher supervisors of Wisconsin. So, having said that, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what we have in our dry leaf. I'm getting a few notes here. We'll come back and talk about fragrances because I have a few things I need to mention about that. While we're doing that, I do want to zoom in and look now at our dry leaf, which we have in front of us. One of the things you're going to notice here about our dry leaf, Second Flush here, the Darjeeling tea, they have given us a variety of colors here. You have a golden yellow. You have some of your darker colors that you would associate with a black tea. You also get a few pieces of this. Let me try to pull this one out. Yeah, you get a red, rust red color as well. This comes from the level of oxidation that is allowed to take place on these leaves. So they're given a variety, well, I should say, they are not as oxidized as some of your deeper black teas, which allows us to give a variety of colors in the yellows and the red, black, the browns and the rust reds that we have. Okay. Going back to some of our information about our smells that we had. There is associated with this particular tea, or this particular kind of tea, your Darjeeling Muscatels, there's the musket smell of the grape, the musket grape, or musket wine, which we're going to be talking about a little bit later. How does that carry over into our cup, or does it? Okay, so this is giving us some time now. I'm going to go ahead and preserve this, pour this. Now you're noticing a nice rich color as before. I'm going to talk about color in just a moment. A few notes about, I'm not going to really dive in and get in and talk about colors of a wet leaf, but these are colors. As I look in, I do get colors of a green color, deep green. I get some of those browns, those rust reds as well. So this looks like it is an extreme oxidized oolong style or a lightly oxidized black tea style. And so this one's crossing over towards the more lightly oxidized black teas, which generally means it's getting more of a variety of aromas and less of that briskness, of that puckery, of that astringent that's associated with black teas. Okay, but to talk about aromas, I mentioned I was going to say a little bit more. If you're not familiar with that muscat wine kind of smell, what I found in this smelling and in previous tastings of this tea, something that you may be able to associate more with is to go into your grocery store, go to the vine-picked tomatoes, and scratch on that vine a little bit. And there's the smell that comes from that tomato vine that carries into this cup. And I find strong associations with that. And it is a welcome smell. It is a rich smell. It is a healthy garden smell that I enjoy. I remember days as a kid back home picking tomatoes, and we had hundreds of plants. And hot summer days, if you did not put on a pair of gloves, by the end of the day you had green fingers. And the smell that you got was some of that tomato vine smell, which is rich, which is healthy, which, yeah, good memories there. Okay, so having said all that, let's talk about what we have in our cup, what other things are coming out here. Very strong, healthy tomato vine smells. I'm looking forward to this. Yeah. Now, because this is a lightly or more lightly oxidized black tea, a variety or a wider palette of aromas is coming out. That tomato vine smell is there. Perhaps you pick it up more as that muscat wine kind of, so that wine smell. Other things that I notice is, yes, the body is there, it is filling, and let me go back. Yeah, it's not as mighty, as punch you in the mouth brisk as a lot of your black teas, which means it's gentler. It's not. It does have a little bit of astringency, but not the astringency associated with a lot of your stronger, deeper black teas. Aftertaste is again that variety of aromas, less of the brisk taste, less of the briskness. So to say that you've got light on the briskness, heavier on the aromas, a rounded body, and a pretty light aftertaste, or an aftertaste that carries some of those tomato vine aromas. This one characterizes a lightly oxidized black tea. It comes in with a score of 92 because it does embody a lot of the value of the red tea and the oolong, and what a flush, especially a lightly oxidized flush, second flush like this can be. So again, 92 points for Rishi and their Darjeeling's second flush Muscatel. I'm Jason Walker, and this is Walker Tea Review.